Hello, welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam. I'm Real Person. And today I want to talk to you about Super Mario 3D Land for the Nintendo 3DS. I don't think I have a whole lot to preface this up front, except that I played this, on the 3DS, but I got it digitally, so I don't have the case or whatever to hold up. And I guess there's a written review you can check out before, after, or instead of this video review, if you go to that link in the description, and it'll probably just be on hubworldhq.com if you go there, but who knows, by the time I post this, stuff can get crazy. But yes, I highly recommend the written review, because I'll probably cover stuff a little better there, but we'll see. One other thing, I guess, as long as we have this upfront section like this, is that I didn't get full 100% everything in the game. Part of it's because there's, like, these unlockables you can get, and it's, like, one of the stars I needed to get on my profile. You see, like, little stars on your profile for completing certain criteria, basically, there's one level that's, like, a bonus level I couldn't beat. I'm just not very good, I guess. I'm not good enough for that. And also, there's one you have to do without dying too many times. And so, to make all the 5 stars on your profile shiny, or however many you have, makes them shiny, I think. And I didn't know about that until after I pretty much did almost all of the games. So I didn't get either of those. But other than that, I did pretty much everything everything else and everything I could have. So keep that in mind, I guess. And let's go to the thing. So, Super Mario 3D Land is, I guess the best way I could put it is basically, it's sort of a mix between, the gameplay, and control of, Super Mario Galaxy, mixed with, the mentality and structure of New Super Mario Bros. I mean, you're still going from level to level, and you're trying to get to the end of the level, to get to the flagpole, to beat it. You do that through a lot of platforming stuff, and there are 3 star coins hidden throughout the level for you to find. But all the levels are still timed, but there's, like, it's 3D gameplay, stuff to do with that. It's a 3D platformer. A 3D platformer Mario game at that. And Mario's got a lot of techniques. He's got the jump and the triple jump, long jump. He's got the back flip and the side flip and the ground pound. He can actually do this weird, like, duck walk thing. He can do, like, a roll ability. And I guess he runs also. You got some Mario power-ups in there. You got the mushroom, which makes you big. You actually start all the levels big, but if you get hit, you can get small. If you have a power-up higher than the mushroom, you'll go down to the mushroom one, and then you'll go down to small. And every time, there's a checkpoint flag in every level, you hit that, you'll get big and whatever. But there's the mushroom, gets you into Big Mario, or Super Mario, as he's usually called, I suppose. There's Fire Flower, which lets you shoot fire. And there's the star that makes you temporarily invincible and a little bit faster. There's the leaf, which turns you, basically puts you in a Tanuki suit here, which works more like the raccoon suit from Super Mario Bros. 3. In fact, there's a lot of Super Mario Bros. 3 references and flourishes in this game. With a lot of the music, and, like, there's the checkerboard tiles a lot of places, and, like, the wood tiles for some of those levels, and so there's a lot of nods to that. But the Tanuki suit works more like the raccoon suit from that, where you can hit stuff with your tail. You can hold down the button in midair to slow your descent. There's what are the other ones? There's also this. I think it's a new one actually for this. Is I don't know what he's called. It's like a boomerang bro or something like that. But basically, you get it to turn into those guys that throw boomerangs. You get like a suit like that, and you can throw boomerangs, which can collect coins and items and stuff from a distance and hit enemies from a distance. And you can, like, jump over the boomerangs, like dodge them when they come back to you, so they go multiple, like, directions, or like they get multiple passes like that. There's also like a stone leaf you can get, which turns you into basically this more like the actual Tanuki suit. It's just like it looks slightly different, but with this, when you do the ground pound, you turn into a statue for a bit of time as long as you're holding it, and it only lasts for so long when you're holding it anyways. But that makes you invulnerable while you're in that state. So those are the kind of power-ups you're getting. It's standard Mario stuff where you're running and jumping. You're jumping on Koopas and Goombas and all that. You're collecting coins. 100 coins is a 1-up. You can collect clocks in the levels to get extra time. And you get those star coins in the levels because you need those to open up successive levels. And later levels are taking more and more star coins. There's 3 in every level, so you go with that. There's also a few of these side levels you can go to that are like basically little challenge rooms, and if you do those, you can collect these. Basically, you can get extra star coins and power-ups in there. Those actually regenerate over time, and so you can get some extra star coins that are not in the main world ones through that as they regenerate sometimes. And then there's Toad Huts where you can get extra power-ups. And you can hold one power-up in here, and you hit the touchscreen to take the power-up out and use it. So you kind of have that inventory thing in here, too. Basically, yeah, you play through the there's also, like, ghost houses, and there are some airships, and there are some castles for you to play through. So you have some encounters with Bowser as well as the Koopalings in here, and those are usually the more major fights in a lot of these areas. There are 8 worlds for the main game. You beat Bowser, then you actually unlock another 8 worlds that are special worlds. The thing is, in the 8 main worlds, if you die enough times, you will get this question mark block. The question box will appear. You can get it's like a golden feather or something like that. I don't know if it's supposed to be like gold or not, I think. And it gets you like this super Tanuki suit, basically, which makes you invincible like a star, and gives you all the abilities that Tanuki suit would give you. Because if you died enough times, you can hit that block and get that. You don't have to get it, but it's there. This can help make it easier for you to get through the level. Once you have that on, you can't really take it off either until the end of the level, and after you beat the level, it turns into a regular Tanuki suit after that, so you can't have it in the inventory or anything either. If you die enough times, you can actually get a P-Wing, and the P-Wing will just take you directly to the flagpole of the level, and you can just do that. The special world, though, you can't get those items, it just won't spawn, so you go through these levels without that. Also, I think the stone leaf only shows up in the special world. I think that's where it starts to show up. What else? Also, after you beat, I think you beat like the first world of the special world, and then you unlock Luigi, who basically performs about the same as Mario, except he doesn't pick up speed as quickly, but he jumps higher than Mario does. That's the slight difference you get there. Also, then for the stars I mentioned earlier, to get those, it's like you have to be beating all of the main worlds, I think, gets you a star, and then beating all the special worlds gets you a star. Then I think it's getting all the coins in the normal world gets you a star, and all the coins in special worlds get you a star. And then I think you get the last star by beating every single level as both Mario and Luigi. And then if you don't have the super items ever spawn, you can get the shiny stars, which means you just can't die a certain amount of times in any of the main world levels, because you can't really turn that stuff off or anything. And if you actually record, who's beating the level, it's Mario or Luigi. Also, it records if you've gotten to the top of the flagpole in the level. They have a little golden flag next to it on the level selection. And if you get a gold flagpole on all of the levels, you then unlock a bonus level that's just a lot harder than the other levels, and it's a bit longer. and I think that counts towards beating every level with every character. I think it might not, though. I'm not entirely certain. Like I said, that's the bonus level I couldn't beat. Other than that, though, that's pretty much the whole. In a nutshell, I mean, that's a lot of stuff, but that's pretty much the whole game. And it's really fun. It controls super tight. I mean, it feels really good. It's not like, it doesn't like look or feel hindered by the fact that it's on the 3DS. It's a lot of Mario stuff in here that you've seen before, but it's all like kind of, it's all in one place. It's all done with the same kind of physics and the same kind of look. It all is just really cohesive, and it's really fun to then just kind of play around with that and explore with that. Like, oh, like there's the stuff from Mario 3, and here's the stuff from Mario World, and here's these things you remember from Mario Galaxy. And they just play with that stuff a lot with the fun of the 3D Mario stuff, and I really liked exploring the levels too. Like the fact that they had the star coins in there, I really loved just going around and trying to explore all the nooks and crannies to see all the stuff they like hit on different parts of the levels, and like where are the star coins? Like what am I gonna find if I go off into this really far off place? And it's cool because like you'll go in those places that maybe normally if you're like, I don't know, a normal person or like a speedrunner or something, or just somebody who's more like, I just want to get to the end, it's like whatever, like they will probably miss it. And it does record your best times on these levels, I guess, so there's that. But it's like, it's cool that like there's stuff for you to find if you're taking your time and exploring those levels. I really loved that. There are some levels, actually, like in the special worlds, I guess I probably should have mentioned this before, but I'll say it now, is where they start to do this thing where, like, most of the special world levels are actually just, like, harder variants of the normal world levels, are kind of altered a bit and changed a little, but there are these things they throw in, like, some levels, you'll be chased by, like, a Shadow Mario the whole time, which basically just follows the path they're taking, so you can't really stay still or be in the same spot. You have to kind of, manipulate where it's going to be and where you're going to be by the time it's there, that kind of thing. Which is kind of like, there's levels like that, sort of similar to like Shadow Mario stuff, like from like Super Mario Sunshine, that Mario would show up and whatnot. These levels kind of make you like have to move and like, oh geez, I gotta like be very aware of my positioning and be aware that I'm moving and all that. Which it can sometimes be killed. If you have like a star, you can temporarily kill it. And there's certain areas where you're temporarily, it's like a little safe zone until you walk to a certain spot, and then it'll spawn again and start chasing you. But there's those levels, and then there's also levels where there'll be like very little time in the level to start with, and you'll have to run and like basically either collect clocks as you go to keep increasing your time, or you'll have to kill enemies to increase your time. And you'll have to keep yourself moving and doing that stuff, so you can't really slow down, so there's enough time for you to actually finish the level. It's kind of built around you moving quickly and getting through it that way. And there's some levels that combine both of those things, so you get pretty hectic near the end of it. It's it can get pretty crazy, and like some of the levels are like, actually the difficulty ramps up pretty well, and it's pretty fun to play around with those ideas of like, okay, we want you to move, we want you to play a little differently, or we're going to put in stuff for you to do things differently, and we're going to play around with a lot of the stuff that you kind of already understand, you kind of already know, and we're kind of introducing it, but now we're like re-implementing it again in these later levels, and like you have to play with it on the fly, and you better be good at it by now, that kind of thing, which is cool. And it's a pretty good amount of content just for like being like a 3DS game and all that, and like, I don't know, like it had more content than I thought it was going to have, without it feeling like overblown. And the fact that you can just like play a level and then like stop is like cool. I can just like play this level or play a few levels if I want to in a row, and then I can stop and save whenever, so it doesn't feel like I have to commit a bunch of time to it. It works well as a handheld, but when you want to, it works just fine to just keep playing it. It's great. It's a very well crafted Mario experience for sure. As far as downsides, though, I guess it does have some. Having to play through the levels multiple times, you don't have to experience all the levels, I guess, which is nice, but it kind of sucks that, like, if you want to get all that stuff, you have to play through all the levels as both characters, possibly a third time if you want to get the flagpoles, and maybe even more if you didn't get all the star coins you want to get. it's kind of rough that they don't let you shut off the super items, so that basically you have to not die enough times on a level, or like shut the game off if you're about to die another time on that level, so you don't have to risk it just to get those stars, those shiny stars on your profile. Not that they really matter, I guess. It's not like a percentage it shows or anything, so it's kind of nice they didn't do that, I suppose, but that's still a little like frustrating that there's something like that there. It's also weird that they don't. I mean, like the super items in general, like it's kind of nice that if you have the super Tanuki suit on, it's like, well, some items like some star coins and like some secrets and stuff you can't get because you need a certain other item to do it, and you have this on, so you can't. I think that's kind of neat. And then there's like I don't know, like the P-Wing means like, yeah, you're not getting any star coins, you're not getting jack shit from this level, you're just skipping it. You can see more of the game, but you're skipping it. And it's like, there's some incentives there, except that gets sort of thrown out the window when you get to the special world. It's like, oh, you don't have these anymore. So if you were skipping a bunch of stuff and relying on those, well, you're fucked. You can't, really get through these levels. And you need more star coins anyways, but I think it would have naturally worked better to just have it be like, okay, well, you don't have enough star coins to do these later levels, so you better go back to the previous levels and get good enough to get those star coins. Same thing with those like little like challenge houses that refresh. It's like, I get the reasoning behind them, but it's like I feel like it would have worked better for the difficulty curve and like teaching the player. It's like, okay, well, you can't really get to these levels now because you're not going to be good enough to do them anyway if you haven't got the star coins on these other levels, if you haven't got enough of those to go here. And I think that would have worked better than what they tried to do to make it a little more accessible. It kind of messes with the whole difficulty curve idea, I think, of it. Yeah, it's, I guess I didn't explain the plot either, but the plot is a little like, whatever, it's Mario stuff. It's just Peach is kidnapped, save Peach. That's basically it. It's always it. I think that's maybe another big downside to this game. Aside from maybe a lot of little nitpicks and all that, I mean, like I will mention the camera. I guess one more thing for smaller ones. The camera was sometimes kind of annoying. I didn't play with the 3D effect, admittedly, because it kind of hurts my eyes to use that. There's sometimes when it is kind of hard to tell your perspective. Like, I thought I was going to land here, and I didn't because the camera didn't have the most intuitive place to go. You can slightly manipulate it with buttons on the touchscreen, but it only like stays as long as you're holding the button, and as soon as you let go, which you have to do to like run and move and whatnot, it goes back to wherever it was before. So having actual like just having camera buttons down there to kind of manipulate it temporarily and let it sit in that position you pushed it would be nice. Or would be really nice to have full like 3D camera control, but it wasn't really built that way, I guess. So it does a pretty good job for what it's trying to do, I suppose. But there were just times when it would have been nice to have a bit more camera control than you got. The overall, I think, biggest complaint, though, that I did have with this is just the fact that it's like, this is very, very forgettable, I guess, in the sense of, like, there's nothing here. I would put it in the sense that it has an identity crisis. It's definitely Mario. It is certainly, without a doubt, a Mario game. But, there's green pipes, there's red bricks, there's Koopas, there's Goombas, there's Bowser, the works. Yeah, that stuff's all there. But the thing is, it doesn't really do much of anything for itself that really identifies it. Like, maybe the boomerang, like, power-up thing is unique to it, maybe, I think? I'm not even entirely sure if it is. I want to say it is, but I'm not even entirely sure. So much of this game is like, yeah, this is the thing from Super Mario Bros. 3. I mean, a lot of that. I love Super Mario Bros. 3, but there's a lot of that in here. And Super Mario World, and that's the thing from like Super Mario Galaxy and all this stuff. And it's like, nothing really in Super Mario 3D Land really stands out as like, oh, that's the thing from Super Mario 3D Land. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the downside of the whole thing, is like, it's not the kind of game that innovated on that Mario idea. It's just the kind of game that it took the stuff, put it together, it polished it, it perfected it, and it just didn't push it forward. And that's going to make it feel kind of forgettable, and that's part of why it's one of those games that I think is going to sort of get lost in the mix along with some of the new Super Mario Bros. Stuff. It's going to get sort of lost in that mix there. That's also another thing I guess I didn't mention, I should have mentioned before, that big bit But I will mention in here, because it also really bothered me, is that this was a 3D Mario game where I had a timer on me. Like, some of those levels were cool because they were built around me needing to get more time, and it was kind of about that. But some levels, like, it feels like the timer's just there as, like, it's a thing that you have in the series. It's a Mario game, so we're doing the levels, you gotta be timed, I don't know. They could have just not had the timers in the levels where you don't need to be timed, and I think it would have been a lot better, because I could have taken my time and explored, instead of having to redo a level because I had to scramble to the end when I was exploring too much, or, like, I was too worried about not getting to the end in time that I missed some of the star coins and stuff and had to replay them more times than I really should have. I feel like it's discouraging on some of the levels that are more open and explorative to have that whole, like, timer element to it. Boy, that bugged me, especially coming off of stuff like Super Mario Galaxy and Sunshine and 64, where you're like, I just want to run around in this 3D space and, like, explore this playground they made for me. And they're like, okay, you can explore this playground, but hurry up, because, playtime's recess is almost over, so you better hurry up so you get back and, go to the world map and then jump into it again. Because there's a whole lot of point to that. I don't know. That sort of bugged me, too. Overall, though, I mean, Super Mario 3D Land's great. I don't know, like, if you like 3D Mario stuff, and, like, the way Galaxy controls, and, like, if you like the new Super Mario Bros. Sort of format, that kind of, go to a level, get the star coins, get to the flagpole, that kind of thing, I think that you'll really enjoy it. Or if you like Super Mario 3D World, it's maybe not as big and crazy as that. I mean, look, I might talk about that later, but it's still really good. It's portable because it was on a 3DS. I got it for like $30 even, but I think it was worth it, and I think it'd be even worth it. I don't know if it even goes for 40 physical or not, but I think it'd be worth it. Even for, like, a general fan, or just, like, if you like platformers or whatever, and you have a 3DS, you're just looking for a good 3DS game, I think $25, if you can find it for that, is not bad either. So it's a very solid game, even if you're not, necessarily a huge Mario fan or whatever, it's still really good. If you are a huge Mario fan that wants something different and more innovative, I guess it's maybe gonna fall a little flat, but I think if you accept it for what it is, enjoy it. It's pretty fun. If you don't want it to be something it's not, I guess. So yeah, very solid game. And I think it is also really crazy that it's like, it's basically, it's sort of, in a way, as sort of a demo or like a preview. It's a sign of things to come. So, Super Mario 3D World on Wii U is probably what I'm planning to review next. I don't know if it's going to be exactly next. I don't know if I'm going to release those back-to-back reviews, but it will come after this review that I'm saying in front of your face right now, and probably continue off a lot of the stuff I was saying here, hopefully, whenever I beat that, because I'm close, but I hear it gets really fucking hard. So I might have to cop out and be like, I did most of it. I don't know. So let me know if you guys are excited for that in the comments or whatever. And, whatever stuff you want to say about the game and all this other stuff, say that shit in the comments. Like, dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe. Do all the things that you feel you need to do as a YouTuber. Again, check out that written review if you would like at this point. It says a lot of what I said here. It's just that you could probably read it faster than I said it. It's probably worded a bit better. You don't have to hear my voice. You don't have to see my face. It's going to do you a ton of favors. Just read that and then watch the footage on mute. You'll get the same effect or something. Anyway, that's the whole review. I've been Sam. I've been a real person. And I'm looking forward to the 3D World one now, because this was really good, and I imagine that one's just going to leave me feeling like it's even better. I hope.